Right then.
Yeah, sorted.
Welcome back to the next episode of Get Back to Your Day Jobs. We said we'd be back.
And you know, it's a miracle we are. We said coming in, it's very often when we do these kind of things, it's not often you actually get to do a second one or a third one. It's the tricky second album, I think Camille would say. So yeah,
it's the second coming.
Yeah, it is. And we've come on a busy day at the club, haven't we? Because we've come and there's a sea of motorbikes, isn't there?
It's like the Sons of Anarchy out there. I've driven on and I've not got a clue what's going on.
Yeah, well, I think they might actually, basically there's a motorbike club, a motorbike society that use the club to rent for their meetings, and they have this big gathering every year. I was speaking to Paul Gregg earlier actually, and he said they've been doing it for 40 years, and there'll be about 1,000, 1,500 on this afternoon.
So I thought it was a scooter club that used to come on. And this is
Maybe
is like ZZ Top.
Yeah.
And there's an axe throwing thing.
Yeah.
This place never ceases to amaze me.
Well, it's also, I mean, you'll know as well, you came on last week, it's probably been the busiest close season ever. Like, there has been, I don't overestimate when I say there has been something every weekend, whether it be a junior football club presentation, the Allerton Terrace Cup final, the Remembrance game last week, and now this weekend. It's fantastic, isn't it?
We're winging it here because the changing rooms, I don't think they've been cleaned since last week. And then I've forgotten a memory card, so we're recording on my phone.
Absolutely. We've still got Stelios' straps in the corner there.
I'm going to stick them on eBay.
That's it. We'll sign them, have a selfie with them, and then, highest bidder can have them.
Yeah. So, where were we?
Yeah, well, a lot's happened, hasn't it?
Yeah. So, I think we're going to cover first of all, Meet the Manager.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I thought went really well.
Absolutely.
Credit to yourself.
Oh, no, thank you. I mean, it was when, I said this last time, when Chaddy came down for his interview, Chaddy came down for his interview, he was so impressive in what he talked about, his vision, and his ethos and outlook of football really matched Cole's in that, it's all about effort and determination. It's all about, not worrying about the little things, but did we get the point at the end of the day, and that's what Chaddy's all about, and I think that came across really, really well. And it was fantastic, first of all, to see so many there, which I think is a sign of
new faces as well.
Yeah, really new faces, a sign of how far the club has grown off the field, and just the enthusiasm for it. Because understandably so, I think there were a few kind of because it's been, like we said, we've had this sort of stability for 9 years or so. It has felt strange, hasn't it? Because this is a whole new era at the football club, which is what we've been saying on social media. Yeah. It's felt strange, but I think our message is it's going to feel strange, but there's nothing to be worried about. And I think what the Meet the Manager did was it just calmed everybody down a bit.
I thought he came across really well. And also Jim Whiteman, his assistant, is certainly a character.
Absolutely. I mean, look, the majority of his playing career was in the South African League. I mean, you don't get many saying that.
I couldn't pin down his accent to Scotland or South Africa or locally.
Absolutely. Whereas Chaddy, I keep saying Chaddy, but Chaddy is a Wiganer born and bred, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I think even in his Twitter bio, he says happy as a pie in a barn, which I think sums him up perfectly. But it's going to be exciting, I think, and the two of them, they're going to get their heads together, and of course Warren Jones has come back to join the management team since.
Yes.
And we're going to have a team that we can be proud of, and I think that is already, before a ball's even been kicked, a remarkable achievement given the scale of the change that was ahead of him. Do you know what I mean? They've started pre-season training at this stage. There's 22 players there, and of course Chaddy is still working out who's he going to bring in, who's not quite working where, and stuff like that. But to have 22 players, 22 new players, 18 new players and 4 from last season, is a remarkable achievement already, because let's not underestimate the scale of that job in what has been already in the Northern Premier League probably the most chaotic summers I've certainly ever seen.
Yeah.
So, well done Chaddy already, because that is in itself is a fantastic achievement, and it is going to be an exciting season, a season of unknowns for everybody, but ultimately that's why we like football, that's why we like sport, isn't it?
Oh, of course. He kept his cards very close to his chest in terms of he wasn't naming people. He gave us a little bit of information, and if you did a bit of searching on Wikipedia, you were able to work out who he was talking about.
Yeah.
But he has been very coy, and I think that's quite smart.
Absolutely. It is, because we've said this time and again, you can't announce players You sign them. They play 2 games in the league. What is the point? Do you know what I mean? You've got to make sure they suit your style of play. They suit the club, you know, and the context of the club. And you actually want them to play in your side, and they've got the personality to. And of course, that is the right thing to do in football, right? It's almost an old-fashioned thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or a traditional thing to do. And I'm not saying Shaddy is old-fashioned or traditional, but he has that kind of, you know, mindset, that traditional outlook on what football should be. You know, it should be hard-working, it should be truthful and honest, and it should be, you know, all about the result on the pitch, not how pretty you play. Do you know what I mean? I think that's key for Coles.
I think honesty was one of his key values that he spoke about as well in conversations with players. I think football isn't necessarily the most honest of games.
And it's becoming increasingly dishonest at this level.
Yeah.
But there's of course been, and you know, we talked about this before, and there's been a couple of departures, sort of confirmed. You know, there were a few.
It's a strange one.
Yeah, you know, obviously Danny Laff and Gaz and Jack Lenihan have gone to Bury, and we wish them all the best. I think everybody at the club wishes them all the best. And there may be a couple of question marks. Oh, well, why have you not announced them on social media? And from our point of view, as the media team, the media collective with Rob and Danny and everybody else that's involved. It's hard, isn't it? Sort of paying credit to the past as you're trying to build to the future.
Yeah.
So our mindset has been, you know, new era. That's the kind of phrase we're using. You know, we used it when we announced the kit, new era, new stripes. And so then, like for example, a couple of days before we launched the kit, I think Danny Laff had confirmed he'd gone to Bury, and it's like, well, it's not something we're going to make a big song and dance about because we've got a responsibility to look forward and sell this new product. Do you know what I mean?
It's kind of always been that way, and it's a little bit unfortunate that the time is finite. That Jake Kenny, for example, left the club, and it was in stages, and we never gave him, specifically picking out Jake, but there's lots of other people like Grimmy, etc. Because when they leave, someone else comes in. And you owe it to them as well.
But like Mark Battersby, really.
Yeah.
He didn't, you know, he's one of our highest ever goal scorers, if not the one. He didn't really, because obviously he sort of illness played a massive part in his departure. He didn't get a big announcement, did he? Do you know what I mean? Saying he's left. So, but just to put on record our thanks, I suppose, to Gaz Pete, to Danny Lafferty, to everybody else that has moved on, because they were instrumental last season. But at the same time, thank you. Let's see what the next chapter brings. So,
of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be a funny place particularly without Laff and Gaz Pete.
Yeah.
But time and tide waits for no man.
No man, and that's it. And we've got you know, in terms of retentions that we can talk about. Obviously, Nico de Vries Hansen staying, which is fantastic. You know, a good young keeper. You know, certainly a safe pair of hands who I feel like was only getting into the stride of things last season before he got that nasty injury that knocked him out for a fair few months. So it's going to be now he knows the league. Now he knows the brutality of football at this level. He should be a fantastic asset between the sticks. And then of course everyone knows Adam Rooney staying, which is excellent. You know, he's such a good young defender. Loves the club, as does his dad. You know, the Rooney family, I think, have become core almost that Coles identity at the moment. You know, Jesse Ebasile, what a fantastic young asset to have. You know, he came on, he made impacts last season. And he's a young lad, right? You're talking 18, 19. And so it's exciting again. Obviously, Cesar Linguber in midfield, who, you know, a bit of muscle in there, which is key. So it's not all gone. But it's an exciting mix for me of arguably the most exciting players from last season with some new faces and new gaffer. Let's see what happens. It's going to be good.
We spoke to Adam last week at the kit launch. So I've met, it's probably into the hundreds of players who've come through the club and been and gone and etc. And Adam talked as passionately about the club as anyone I've ever met.
He loves it.
Yeah.
And it's a genuine love. And I think it's been hard for him as well as everybody else, because he knew from day one he was going to stay, which I think speaks volumes. He knew before we even announced a manager he was going to stay. And and he's been itching to get going, and now pre-season training started. He's got that big smile on his face, and for him to be involved in a kit launch was a fact. He said it was a fantastic honour, and I was like, wow, what a fantastic attitude to have, really, because any other player would just turn up, thrown it on and left, but he saw it as an honour, and I think he understands the wider context of this club and where it sits in history. So yeah,
we did one kit launch that went particularly well, if you remember, with the Flares, with Glenn Matthews, Danny Laff, and Greg. Yeah, and that was the last decent one I think I can remember.
Yeah, definitely, because I think the other two sort of in COVID hit seasons and stuff. So
3 times
we had the same kit for 2 seasons because of COVID and stuff like that. So it's been good, I think, to. We've kind of seamlessly transitioned here, haven't we? But it's been good to kind of be creative with it again, haven't we? Yeah. Hasn't it?
Yeah.
So the kits are behind us there. I think we, it's great to be working with Macron again. They're fantastic and so helpful with everything, and they've got a great partnership with the league. And I think it was about, and this is what's reflected in the kit, is with it being this new era. That new era, new stripes fight. It's about having something a little bit different, because the colours, it is going to be different next season, and let's reflect that in the kit. So rather than having the standard black and white stripes, it's sort of edged. It's almost like staticky, which I think is really good. And then obviously we've not had a maroon kit in
for a while.
And
like 10 years ago.
It's not your bog standard maroon. It's got a mixture of white in there with the sleeves, and it does give me that kind of almost workman-like vibe with, again, sort of electric staticky shocks.
Did we agree for Matt Lawson that it was claret and not maroon?
Not maroon and white. I can't wait to get. I think we're going to get sort of Lawton 1 on the back, just sort of, or Hips Till I Die on the back or something like that. But yeah, certainly Hearts vibes there. But they're 2 lovely kits, aren't they? And I mean, do you want to talk through the process of shooting that kit launch? Because it was really something special, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Because we decided the again, going back to our roots, this new versus old, this new era vibes, let's have that colliery in the background. Now, I was moving house the week before, and I rented a van from Astley, and I saw that colliery, and I thought, bloody hell, that's impressive. Because you don't see them about now, do you? That's probably the first one I've ever seen in person, to be honest. And it's just such a beautiful setting, wasn't it?
Incredible. We got down there, and Eric was...
Yes. Eric Lancaster, who is a bona fide Coles legend, was there volunteering at the Mining Museum. So he volunteers at the Mining Museum during the week, then he comes and watches Atherton Collieries at the weekend. So he's got a wholly coal-related kind of life, hasn't he? So
it's a place that's certainly worth a visit if you're ever at a loose end.
100%. And they were so helpful, weren't they? To give us kind of free reign almost of the site was fantastic.
Yeah.
And the proof was in the pudding, so well done to everybody involved in that video, because obviously you did the drone footage and Rob did the video film and Danny pieced it all together, so it was a good team effort.
It was a team effort, and for me it just put down a stamp of I think personally, that blowing our own trumpets, that what we can do is as good as anyone in this league.
Oh, definitely.
And there's clubs with professional people.
Oh, 100. I mean, there's also clubs with professional people and people contracted to do that job as the media stuff.
Yeah.
And again, I think for us, it's about staying true to our values, right? I think if we were offered money to do our stuff, I mean, I know I would probably say just give it back to the club. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we don't need it. This is just about passion here now. It's about taking the Coles name and the Coles brand, and we're proud of this club. We're proud to be part of it, and we just want to sell it like everybody else, don't we? And get other people involved.
Yeah, we take nothing out.
No, we
just exactly. It's just the way it is.
Absolutely. And Peter's, you go to some clubs and they're surprised to hear it sometimes, and I just hear, I'm not going to name any names, but you go to some clubs and they're like, sort of brandishing all their nice new tracksuits about, and then you rock up in jeans and say, I always wear my jeans and stuff, and they always look at me a bit funny, and I'm like, oh, you know what? Then we're going to beat them 2-0, so it's win-wins really. But yeah.
That's one of the best parts of it, really.
Absolutely.
But we're not here to build our CVs.
No.
Anyway,
not at all. So and then I suppose coming up really is nearly the start of the pre-season campaign. This time next week.
They're in training. The lads trained on Thursday. They trained this morning.
Yeah.
And the first game is next week.
Yeah. Next week against Blackpool. First ever meeting, which is again a really exciting day, really, because it'll be our first chance to have a look at the squad. I think we're going to put this out tomorrow, aren't we, on Sunday?
Try.
Yeah, we'll certainly try. And I believe there will be some announcements between now and then, because I think what Chaddy wants to do is avoid a situation where we have a team sheet that just says try list, because again, he wants to be honest and transparent, which I think is fantastic, but I also think we've got to have patience if it doesn't work out, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. But, you know, it's going to be an exciting day and a chance to see this new era at the football club, as it were, isn't it? So, yeah.
I'm a big fan of informing people who's who. So that works.
Giving them a bit of background.
Yeah.
Context.
So I think we will have some players coming in, and those announcements will start this week.
Yeah.
If
all goes to plan.
If all goes to plan. I think that we're going to have to spend some time. Each person deserves
absolutely
to, for us to get to know them and have a chat with them, get photographs and whatever. So I don't think we'll be putting out a list of.
No.
So this may be a process that takes us into August.
And I think as well, we've got to give them time to kind of showcase what they can do. You
Yeah,
know,
for sure.
That game against Blackpool, who knows what to expect? You know, who knows what to expect of a pre-season? We might win them all, we might draw them all, we might lose a few in there, and that's fine, because we've got to remember this is about the whole point of pre-season is to learn, isn't it? To learn about your side, to learn about your playing environments, to learn how the match day day-to-day works. So yeah, it's exciting, and it's going to be new. But that game against Blackpool will be, a historic day for so many reasons. Chaddy's game as manager, the new management team's first game against Blackpool, first game of pre-season. So if you're thinking about coming down, please do, because it will be a really, really exciting afternoon, I'm sure.
I'm interested to see how we set up. Because at the Meet the Manager night, Chaddy talked about playing a 4-3-3.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah,
which is an attacking formation.
Yeah.
Which then could drop into a 4-1-4-1, which is what he talked about was defending from the front.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah, about that.
I sort of quite excited by that.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, look, I mean, we also don't know what to expect from Blackpool, in that they could be sending some first teamers, they could be sending some academy players. We don't know properly yet. So it's the perfect game to kind of try that with. And I think the weekend after, or is it the Tuesday after, we play Prestwich, and then it's 1874, then Bolton at home back here, and then there's one more away game after that.
I've forgotten.
We've prepared well. I'm going to get it up. And then before finishing here at home against Witton Albion now, because that witness game,
there's a change in the schedule.
Has moved.
I think we might have announced that.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Trafford away on the 29th.
Yeah,
so it's Blackpool on the 5th, Prestwich Hayes on the 15th. No, Blackpool on the 8th, Prestwich Hayes on the 15th. Bolton Wanderers on the 22nd. 1874 Northwich away on the 25th, that's at Barnton. Trafford away on the 29th, and then Witton Albion at home on the 5th.
There was some shenanigans. We were meant to be playing Widnes, and they are in the FA Cup now because they've been reprieved.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we're very, very grateful that we've been able to schedule in
100% that
Witton Albion.
Yeah, and they're all good tests. They're all good tests, because you might look at it as there's a few league blows and stuff like that, but that's good. That is good to kind of have that test, and they're good quality teams as well. Prestwich Hayes had a good season in North West Counties last season. 1874 and Trafford are established Northern Premier League clubs, and there is very little difference, as we know, between the two divisions, is there? The Premier Division and the two regional ones.
I think that pre-season, a lot of it is about getting your touch back. Adam talked about this last week. He'd been doing some training.
Yeah.
On touch, because if you don't kick a ball for 6-8 weeks,
absolutely,
and also working on fitness, but then the manager will work on shape and coaching people, because maybe people are used to playing a 4-4-2 and maybe not used to his system, and it needs to be ingrained instinctively of how where you're supposed to be at any time during transition. So
it all starts next Saturday, doesn't it?
It does.
bring it on. That's where the chaos is. And do you know what? All these conversations from Annie, I'm going to message Danny after they say, let's get it out, let's start pushing the Blackpool game now because it's a week today. We need to get the wheels in motion, don't we?
Yeah.
So, yeah, please do come down because it is going to be... It's going to be good to be back, but it is going to feel different, isn't it? No, I'm going to avoid the word strange, but it is because we are so used to and have been over the past 9 years seeing the same faces, but it's a new era, it's a new start. Come down, get to know the lads.
A funny thing for me, because I didn't come down very much for the last couple of years, but prior to that, I think I didn't miss a game home and away for 3 years, so I knew the lads inside out.
Yeah.
And the team had evolved. You maybe didn't realise
absolutely.
quite as much.
But it was like a slow transition.
Yeah, but the supporters were completely bought into players like Ethan Kershaw, who's gone to Clitheroe now. We wish him the best.
Yeah.
And Jack Vanahan and Marcus Cassani, who's gone to Ashton United. Sorry. Good luck to Marcus.
Yeah, absolutely. Good luck to them all and JFC.
Yeah, and Jay Fitzmartin's gone to FC United as well.
And that's it. And it's like, but one thing never changes. Whilst faces change, one thing never changes is that we're Atherton Coles.
Exactly. That's the whole point.
Atherton Coles always have that hard graft, that team you can back, but they also need a bit of help pushing it over the line. And that's our job, isn't it? As supporters to provide that. So get on down next Saturday.
I think the management team. It was great to bring back Warren.
Absolutely.
I spoke to Warren a couple of times over the last few years.
That's my fault.
He was managing over the road.
And
I had a good chat with him then. And I think he was at Daisy Hill.
Yeah, he was.
At the start of the season, I saw him there. We spoke about this. I think you said Warren is a Coles one. I think you said he'll be back one day. And here he is.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's in a slightly different role, I suppose, because of late he's been in that management role, hasn't he, that assistant management role. But I think he's literally here as the first team coach, and he's going to be leading a lot of the training sessions. And one thing we can say about Warren, one thing we know is his eye for detail is second to none. Like, he plans everything down to the last minute detail. So he'll be watching the opposition videos and the clips we get, and he'll be planning training around that. And I think his wealth of winning experience and his wealth of, he was a Prescott Cables, wasn't he previously? So he knows the Northern Premier League division well, and he knows how brutal it is, both physically and mentally. So I think it's really, really exciting to have Warren back on board, and could prove to be one of Chaddy's best signings.
Yeah, inspired.
That he makes.
And Jim Whiteman talked about his time at Curzon Ashton.
Oh yeah, of course.
In the Northern
with John
in the Conference North.
Yeah.
Anyone who doesn't know, they're a club maybe the same size as us.
Absolutely.
They're in the division above, which is a sort of full-time league, and they're competing effectively.
Yeah.
He talked about going to away games at places like Brackley, which I don't even know where Brackley is.
No.
And taking 20 fans away, and coming back with the points, and what an absolute buzz, the coach journey back was, and how he wanted to bring that into the Coles. I think. Yeah.
And I think to be honest, truthfully, and I think everybody, looking back, it's something. Certainly towards the end of last season, we lost to a certain extent when it became so when we went on that run, that really difficult run. I look back at which was Belper, Matlock, and we lost those two games, and the one before here against Liversidge. That's it, and we lost that camaraderie, I think.
Yeah,
and I think that's one thing. Chaddy, Jim, Wazza are determined to build back. Chaddy said after the game, everybody's in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
After the game, everybody's having a chat.
Yeah.
Whether we win 7-0, we draw 0-0, or we lose 7-0, we're together, both on and off the pitch. And I think, again, going back to his interview, going back to the meeting manager, that was again one thing that stood out was it's not just about what happens on the pitch, what happens off the pitch in terms of his engagement with supporters, and the squad's engagement with supporters is just as important. And I bet he's a little bit frustrated himself, to be fair, that he's not been able to to give any names concretely yet, but it's certainly the right approach to take. So
I think he mentioned the player that Lancaster City, sorry to drag their name into it, they'd announced was staying, and 2 days later they'd left.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's in July, or June even.
Yeah.
We just don't want to be in that situation. We haven't got the time or the resources to put into giving someone the coverage that they deserve for them to then leave.
Yeah.
So it has to be done right.
And we're aware of that, aren't we? We knew that would happen. We just knew that would happen.
Yeah.
I suppose one other thing to mention is obviously the 1916 club's continuing next season, and just to kind of explain and say, if because like Carl said, there are lots of new faces, especially supporters wise, which is brilliant. But it's like a season ticket plus the 1916 club, so it's an opportunity really for supporters to give a little bit more, because you pay, it's £20 a month, so over the course of a year obviously it's £240, and that will give you free entry to home, league and friendly games, a free pie, 4 free drinks at the bar, and then obviously some other discounts along the way and stuff like that. But what it allows us to do is it allows us to plan financially for the year. And also, obviously, in the closed season, you still pay that £20, and that is when we talk about the little bit extra. That's what we talk about, isn't it? Because that just gives us that blanket, I suppose. We've never really done conventional season tickets, have we? And
well, the last time I did them, I think I sold 10.
Yeah, and I think the 1916 club has been popular. I think we've got something like 72 members of the 1916 club, so we've got a lot. And that it really, really, really does help us. And it's just that opportunity, because sometimes when you go to non-league clubs, when you go watching a non-league club on a regular basis, you often think, I wonder what more I can do. Well, the 1916 club is that. It's sort of like, and in return as well, for your consistent financial support, you get your free entry to your home and your home league and friendlies, and then you get your pie and stuff like that.
Who can you see if you're interested in that?
You can go. First of all, you can go online. If you are technical, as it were, and go onto our website, the 1916 Club page. That gives you all the information you need and the Google form that you need to fill out to sign up. But then anybody at the club, to be fair, you'll see the big gold posters. So you've got Nick's email on there, Nick Beltine, who leads our commercial sort of ventures. But then anybody, if you're on a match day, come to the Jimmy Fielding. There'll be somebody there that will be willing to speak to you about that and give you the help you need. I
know one of the things that I've noticed getting back involved in this league, following all the other clubs on social media, is that a lot of them have a big push on boosting the budget.
Yeah.
And that's specifically aimed at the playing budget.
And clubs you wouldn't particularly expect to have such
probably
a push
don't need
either.
to boost their playing budget.
Absolutely.
The 1916 club isn't specifically to boost our playing budget, it's to help build the club, like you say, during close season where there's no or little income, and that's the time that you need to spend money on the pitch,
the kits and all kinds of stuff, and I suppose this is our consistent equipment, but the problem is, I suppose the significant difference is you get something in exchange. You get something in exchange for that. You're not just chucking £20 in a pot. And we don't tend to go down the boost the budget route because we know everybody's in the middle of a cost of living crisis.
Of course.
B, we just want people to feel no pressure when it comes to Coles. That's the kind of club we are. We're a no pressure club. We're a club that just want to make sure everybody has a smile on their face, and I feel like a boost the budget campaign doesn't particularly do that. So
it does sort
gives
of
the wrong signals.
Yeah. This club isn't a hard-faced commercial entity.
We're a community football club.
Yeah, exactly.
The bike event today, when you got bikers coming from all over Greater Manchester, epitomises that. The Remembrance game last weekend, the Everton Charity Cup final, all our presentation. We are a community club that happen to have had a very, very successful few years that saw us get promoted to this level. We're very, very proud of that, and we want to maintain that. But we're never ever going to exchange our values for that, are we?
No.
So.
One of the things I wanted to talk about was how we go about attracting players.
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
One of the things to me, so we've lost players Gaz and Laugh have
Yeah.
got to Bury,
Yeah.
who is now Bury FC playing
Yeah.
at Gig Lane,
Yeah.
and that'll be an incredible,
Sells itself, doesn't
an
it?
incredible experience for them.
Yeah.
I don't think, for me, it's where you would go as a young player,
No.
dropping down the leagues. I think you should endeavour to play at the highest level you possibly can do.
Yeah.
And that's, for me, that's the main sales point
Yeah.
of this club,
100%.
is our league position.
Yeah. Our league position, and I think our track record too.
Yeah.
You know, we are known to nurture and develop young players, and we always have done. Always have done. You know, right back in before, you know, we got out of the North West Counties with Anthony Pilkington. He's the prime example, isn't he? You know, and now he went to go and play in the Premier League. You know, and then beyond that, you've got, you know, Ben Hardcastle is someone we've nurtured. The Battersbys are a family we've nurtured, you know, of players and stuff like that. And then now you look at, you know, your Jay Fitzmartin, who's gone to FC United, which, you know, is a big club. They are a big club, aren't they? With, you know, an average attendance of 1,700, etc., etc. So it's something I think that works both ways. And I think the one thing is we are, because we are this no pressure environment. We of course want to win. We want to be competitive, but we if they lose, we don't boo. We pat them on the back and say go again.
That was something that Chaddy spoke about
Yeah.
at the Meet the Manager night, where he had been scouting.
Yeah.
And he did name he said he'd been scouting for 2 clubs. One of them was Telford,
Yes, yeah,
who were in the Conference North,
Yeah.
and he didn't name the other club. I've got a suspicion who it was.
Right,
And
okay.
he watched the games from behind the manager's dugout,
Yeah.
and he did comment on the fact that win or lose, the supporters clap the team off.
Yeah. And I think that is the biggest selling point. And I know Chaddy is when he's had conversations with players, that's one thing he's emphasised. He said, look, it's a family. You're joining a family here, so it's now our job again as supporters to prove that. You know, we've got to keep coming down, and we've got to keep encouraging them. It's about, this season will be about encouraging, because there will be highs, there will be lows, like there is in any football season. But we've just got to keep encouraging them. I mean, I got to Guiseley away in December when it was freezing cold. You know, we had the Guiseley youths on our back, and we were losing 3-0. It was Boxing Day, and it was bitter and it was horrible, but we didn't stop singing in that second half, and it was enormous fun. And I think that's ultimately, that's Coles through and through. You know, we will be there. We will make as much noise as possible.
Because for those lows, call it a low, probably isn't a real low.
No, good grief, no.
You've got the highs of winning away at Radcliffe.
Of course you have, yeah. And FC United.
And they outweigh
Yeah, they
anything.
Do. They do. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. So be a part of it, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Because
next
I'm
week
looking
we're ready
forward
to
to
go.
it. That's it. Who, you know, looking forward to seeing the new places, completely new style. It really is exciting. It really is exciting. It's almost like we're watching a new team, but with the old, but still going back to the old team too. Do you know? Well, they are a new team.
Who's going to be the legends?
Yeah.
Who's going to score the first goal?
Yeah.
Who's going to play 400 games like Gaz Pease?
Because very often, you know, people often say, "Oh, well, Brad played for Collins." It's like, yeah, but only 40 people watched him week in, week out.
If
Yeah.
40.
Whereas
Yeah.
now you get to see that next generation
Yeah.
of Coles legends,
Yeah.
led by the next Coles legend of a manager, David Chadwick, that I am convinced. So, yeah, it is exciting, and it all starts in 7 days' time.
So I think what we're going to do is we wanted to box off last season.
Yeah.
I think we've done that.
Yeah.
And once the new players start being announced, I think we're going to do one of these again, maybe in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And we're going to go a little bit more in depth
Yeah.
about what we know about those players.
Maybe before the Bolton game.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Because we'll have a chance to see them actually in action.
Yeah. And we've got a couple of results under our belt, and then, to be honest, the fixtures might even be out there.
So I looked, and the fixtures last season came out middle of July.
Right.
So it's maybe a couple of weeks before that happens.
Mind you, the ball game 2027.
Yeah. So the fixtures are the fixtures
so
are
we'll
out.
talk about that. So
Yeah.
next episode will be a bumper episode. That sounds of things. So
Ready to go. Apologies for the motorbike noises.
They're having a good time. I think we're going to look around a few stores, get some new leather. And it always sounds a bit dodgy, that I suppose, doesn't it? But you know, get some new motorbiking gear, and it's another exciting weekend at Atherstone Coles. So let's see what it brings.
And we'll see you there.